Dr. Doom has come up with a plan to stop Null and Godzilla by taking this whole conflict to another level. So to do that, he's gonna assemble his own Avengers team. So with that said, if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. So coming back, this continues with Doom making his preparations to save the world, now that nearly everyone in this universe has either fallen to Null or Godzilla, with every attack only making the King of Monsters even more powerful for the next fight. So for that reason, Doom has put together a plan that's more complex than just taking on Godzilla one-to-one. And I mean, there is a bit of that, with Doom making his way to go grab Mechagodzilla, and we'll see him put it to use in a little bit. But in the larger picture, Dr. Doom is preparing for so much more, and to pull it off, he's gotta move quick. Because as Doom is making his rounds, we see Null make his way to Earth from Asgard, now that his symbiotes have found Doom in Paris. Okay, no, but when Null gets here, he attacks right away, while saying that he's not surprised that Doom was able to hold out for so long, given Doom's reputation. But to Null, none of that matters, because now he finally has him. So he gets his symbiotes, or his disgusting wraiths, to make Doom bow. And you know, I almost feel like that's a subtle nod to Web of Venom Wraith, written by Donny Cates back in 2020, when Cates took the pre-existing history that we got of Wraith from Annihilation Conquest, and he tied that back to Null. And I remember covering this at the time and thinking, man, they're about to bring Wraith to the forefront. But long story short, Wraith was the son of a Kree scientist named Sim Day, who discovered an energy source that could bring light to the galaxy, so he wanted to share it. But of course the Kree, they didn't agree, so they was like, get rid of this man and his whole family, in spite of this power of light being able to push away the darkness that had consumed so many Kree before. But in an attempt to escape, the young Wraith's ship was consumed by the darkness, and his soul was devoured by the Exelon Horde. But even with this lining up perfectly with Wraith and all the others like him, already looking like Null, the parasites from the living abyss, being identified as symbiotes, we could have had something special. But I say all this because at the time when Wraith traced all of this back to Null, Null told him that he didn't do this intentionally, but instead Wraith was made from his trash, while Null was locked away. So now even in this universe with this version of Null, he's disgusted by his creations, and he just might literally be calling them wraiths, but I can't help but to draw the connection. Let me know what you guys think. But in this moment with Null forcing Doom to kneel, Null sees him look up and say, Doom will now hear your pleas for mercy. So of course Null's like, what is this, a joke? You must feel some pride in being the last man standing. And this is where things take a turn that Null wasn't expecting, because then Doom tells him here, I am no man, just before catching him with the left. But when Null punches back, he finds out that this was just the Doom bot the whole time. So now he's just like, man, how my raggedy old symbiotes fall for that trick? So he's pissed and he tells his symbiotes to find Victor Von Doom, who Null still sees as just a man, but he also refers to Doom as the most dangerous of these disgusting earthlings, because everything's disgusting. And now after this, we pick up with the real Doom of this earth, in Latveria, where he's freeing one of his people who he needs as a part of his plan. And now this guy, the Latverian baker Kogelmacher, I might be butchering that, but this guy's so ready to help Doom, like he's proud to be a Latverian. So when Doom asks him to join his cause, the baker's like, of course, my liege, but why me? What do you require of me? And Doom's like, cakes, I require your finest work. And we'll see what that's all about in just a moment. But before that, we see Doom head over to Madripoor, where he's just freed up Kid Cable, because as part of Doom's plan, he's gonna need the best time traveler. So of course Kid Cable's like, look no further, I'm your guy. But while he's here saying things to Doom like, hey, I might not look like much, but I got it where it counts, Doom's over here looking at the time almost as if he's waiting on someone. And that's where this bright light flashes behind Nathan, and Doom just looks over at it like, hey, you're late. Just before Kid Cable is blasted in the back by Kang the Conqueror. Because Doom knew Kang wasn't gonna allow another time traveler to take his spot on the roster. So he basically set up Kid Cable for the okie doke. And I already know all the Kid Cable fans is going crazy, because he got done dirty. But now that Doom has the master time traveler that he wants, he tells Kang to meet him at Doomstat and to stay out of his wine cellar. So that's where Kang is like, so we're going back in time to before all this Godzilla ballyhoo? And Doom tells him that's only partially correct, as he warns Kang to avoid being spotted by Null's symbiotes, because Doom has a team to build, which from here takes us to the planet of Rocco, where we recently saw Johnny, Sue, and Ben, along with the X-Men, face Godzilla, where now King Ghidorah is healed up and looking for revenge, and Johnny's one of the only heroes here who are able to free himself up by burning the symbiotes out of himself. And now there's even a moment here where he considers doing the same for the others by trying to burn the symbiotes off of them, but he doesn't do it because the risk of burning his friends and family is too high. So Johnny just holds off on that idea for the time being. Then soon after, he gets a ping from Reed that tells Johnny that he's in Asgard, but as it turns out, it isn't Reed sending his location, but instead, it's Doom. who's now freeing Miles Morales and recruiting him to the team. And now when this happens, Doom tells Miles that he's recruiting him because he remembers the pain of losing what once was. And now that this universe is being threatened with annihilation, they can't fail. So it's like Miles will give his all for this one. But at the same time, I can't help but to imagine it kind of also has something to do with Miles' bioelectricity working well against symbiotes, but Doom doesn't mention that here. And now when Johnny arrives, to his surprise, Reed isn't here. So of course right away he's like, what's going on? And he asks Doom why he's out here faking other people's locations. So Doom lets him know first and foremost to bring you to me, duh. But then also this isn't the time or the place to have this discussion, so they need to leave now. But as it stands, Johnny, he brought Ben and Sue. They're in the ship. And he doesn't want to leave them how they are. And Miles feels the same about everybody else here. Because on one hand, you could look at it like, why not have Doom just free everybody here? Just like he did for Miles and Kid Cable, he's shown that he's capable of freeing them from the symbiotes. But at the same time, Doom also knows that Null is now aware that they're here. And he doesn't want to get into this prematurely. So he gives them a choice, either stay here, fight, and lose, or come with Doom and defeat Godzilla and Null once and for all. And Johnny's still torn on the decision because he doesn't want to leave Sue and Ben. But Miles is like, hey man, I don't think we got much of a choice. As he yanks Johnny through the portal and Doom tells them they're heading to Florida, which now has Miles like, man, it's going to be hard to swing around there. And now with Null still in Paris, he was able to hear through the symbiote vine. Doom mentioned he's heading to the Kingdom of Florida as he was leaving Asgard. And now it takes Null a moment to realize what's in Florida. Because even now he's like, man, why does that sound so familiar? Like, was it a Nexus something? Nexus mods? Nah, Doom ain't playing no games. Gamers Nexus? Nah, that's games again. Thanks, Steve. But then it eventually dawns on him, and he realizes that Doom is heading for the Nexus of all realities. So right away, Null tells his symbiotes to get the word to Godzilla and tell him our victory in his slumber is threatened. There is extreme danger to our reign of silence in Florida. So now Godzilla's been provoked to go after Doom. But from here, when we drop down to the Florida Everglades, this is where we find out what Doom needed that baker for. You know, the cargo mocker guy. Still not sure if that's right, sorry. For whatever reason, my brain is stuck on Torbjorn from Overwatch. Please forgive me. I can already see the comments, respect the baker. But nonetheless, when we get here, Johnny's already like, hey, what's with the baker's man? And Miles is just like, oh, thank God you can see him too. I was scared to say anything. I thought maybe one of the symbiotes cut off the blood flow to my brain. But nonetheless, like Doom said, he brought the baker here to bring a cake. And as soon as Johnny and Miles see it, they're like, hold up, that looks good. And Miles like, hell yeah. Did you bring enough for everybody? But as it stands, Doom had this done so he could strike a bargain with Man-Thing. Because Doom needs Man-Thing to chart their course into the multiverse. But it doesn't just stop there. Because Doom says it's not enough to grant us passage into the nexus of realities. We must take the entire doorway with us. And that's where Miles is just like, bruh, where are we going now? So Doom continues here saying, for decades, humankind has pummeled Godzilla, only to see the monster return stronger every time. We find ourselves in need of new weapons. We will take the entire nexus of realities from the Everglades and join it with Doomstat. Then we will brave the multiverse in search of salvation. And now when Doom does this, Godzilla comes beaming in from Asgard. So now Johnny's like, oh, we gotta fight. Vic, we got company. Which of course has the baker like, hey, don't talk to my emperor like that, calling him the V word. But again, Doom knew that Null was onto him at this point, so he anticipated this attack. So he launches the kaiju countermeasure, which is none other than Mecha Godzilla, who we saw Doom scoop up in the last issue. So we knew Doom was going to use it against Godzilla at some point. But with how this is done, it's more of just a way to buy them some time. Because now that Doom has gathered a number of heroes from across this world to Doomstat to join his team, he tells Godzilla here, the next time you see me, it'll be the day your reign of terror ends. Forever. Just before he gives the baker the cue to give Man-Thing another treat so they can get on with their multiversal travels. Because again, that's basically the arrangement they have here, where in exchange for some cake, Man-Thing will get them where they need to go. And now with them cutting it kind of close here, Miles asks the baker, like, what if Man-Thing doesn't like it? Like, what'll they do then? So the baker tells him, I'm the most talented baker in the world. Dr. Doom has enlisted me to make sure this weird Florida man is plied with treats. And in return, the Florida man will help us traverse the multiverse, ensuring that we can return when we're strong enough to defeat the dual threats that have conquered the Earth. And he's like, now I won't tell you how to spin webs and act creepy. And you leave the baking to me, as they all get out there just in time before getting hit with Godzilla's atomic breath. But even after they leave, Null is like, okay, we need to be prepared for any and everything, because there's no telling what Doom's gonna come back with. So when Doom returns, Null's gonna have something for him too. And at Castle Doom, which is now in the nexus of all realities, we start to see that Doom has others here as well, like the Punisher, Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes, and the White Queen Emma Frost. And you can already tell Emma's definitely been in Doom's wine cellar. And now when Doom tells Johnny that he's unsurprised that Johnny's here for the final battle against Godzilla, do keep in mind, prior to this, we got a glimpse into the far off future to see this world's version of the year 2099, when we saw Johnny send Herbie back in time to help Reed and the others. But also when we saw this, it let us know how things would have played out, at least up to a certain point, with that certain point being Johnny's death. And there's nothing to say if what Johnny did here caused some sort of ripple effect through time, but I do think it's interesting that Doom singled them out here, now that they're in the nexus of all realities. But it's here where Doom tells Johnny, while talking about the final battle against Godzilla, you both have a world of fire raging within you. And that has Johnny like, wait, so we're going to recruit a Godzilla to fight Godzilla? And Doom just tells him, nah, you think it's too small. One Godzilla will not be enough. You who are assembled, you are the Avengers of Doom, and our world's salvation lies in the multiverse. And now for some reason this kind of reminds me of what we saw with the Doom Above All in Avengers Forever with his multiversal Masters of Evil, though of course it's still not quite the same thing, though it did cross my mind. But yeah, with this Doom assembling his Avengers, this now leads us into the next series, Godzilla Conquers the Multiverse, because in this universe, their Godzilla problem just keeps escalating. So now the multiverse is gonna have to deal with it. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/DopeSpill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.